each other. It's like we haven't worked together all day.
I know.
But hello again.
They haven't seen.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
So we're here again today.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited. Always excited.
Always excited.
Well, we usually do this because we have something new to announce or to launch or, something to share with the world. And today is no different.
Right.
And what are we talking about?
And it's not just my hat.
No.
But it doesn't have to do with my hat.
It
right?
does.
So, yeah, it's FritsJurgens has come out with some great new products and kept some products the same.
And apparently they came out with some merch, too.
And they have some merch, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got hooked up with some merch, so that's always nice. But yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot to go over. So
we shouldn't be dilly-dallying here.
No. But you know what? Like, when you get a lot of new information and you have to retain that information, sometimes it feels like it ain't that easy, right? To retain all this new,
it seems like
great
a lot.
information.
We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's things that have changed.
There's a lot, but it is easy. Contrary to the title or name of our IP of the day. It ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
But it is.
But it is.
Wait till the end of the video. You'll be like, this is so easy.
I don't know if that's their tagline, but that is our tagline for their bit.
Yes, exactly. But this is a lovely IPA. It's called It Ain't Easy Double IPA. Mm-hmm. And this is from Radiant Pig Craft Beer out of Newport, Rhode Island. And it is quite lovely.
Yeah. It's nice. It's
it is.
Good. Foamy.
And I just thought the name lends itself well to all the new information we're going to be sharing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, life in general seems like it ain't easy right now.
But it is. But it is.
You boil it down.
It's good.
It's not so
not that bad. So, today we're talking about new stuff. So, we're talking about FritsJurgens, our tried and true pivot hardware manufacturer extraordinaire. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of prior videos about this, so there's a lot of information out there, but this is all brand new stuff that you guys may or may not know a little bit about. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that you may notice when you order and receive or install your FritsJurgens is the new packaging.
The new packaging, yeah. So we have some of that here.
Yes.
Let me flip that
up
for you.
It's super sleek. FritsJurgens has always cared a lot about their packaging and how they present their product. And this is a bit of a ta-da moment. It comes with the million mounting manual.
Yeah, right there. And then all of your boxes, all the little pieces are boxed nicely. They have little identifiers.
Yeah.
They have sticker labels which tell you what they are. And
it's a nice little modular packing system.
Right.
And it makes it very easy to identify what's there, what you need. And you could separate things out on the job site and not lose them and not forget what they are.
Right.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
So a fancy box.
Fancy boxing
is the new thing straight off the bat that you'll notice.
Right.
But as you move in further, you will realize that there's a little bit more improvements going on.
Right.
And the first one would be what? The top pivot.
Top pivot. The TP70.
Yes.
Top pivot 70. So.
Tell me.
Yes. I know you're wearing that.
I'm chomping at the bit.
So TP's top pivot 70 is 70 millimeter backset.
Yes.
So this is for all you FritsJurgens fans. You know, when you install your door, before you had 91 millimeters minimum from the edge of your door to where this pin would sit in your pivot point.
So the closest previously you can put your pivot to the edge of the door would be 91 millimeters, which is about 3 9/16. Mm-hmm. But now you can put it 70 millimeters.
70 millimeters, which is 2 3/4. So that gives you that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a big jump.
Right. Biggest jump is that now with a 36-inch door panel, you can get the required clear opening that you need
of 32 inches.
Of 32 inches.
Yeah.
With the TP70.
Which is really great. I mean, FritsJurgens hardware on its own has always been super innovative. People love it because it's completely mortised into the door. You don't see anything. But like, if there was a thing, people would say, oh, I wish you could put it closer to the edge of the door. Mm-hmm. So ask and you shall receive. Like they did that. They modified, the way that they designed it and produced it and now got it a little bit closer. So you have a wider clear opening, which is really nice. And the other cool thing about this is during installation previously, you would have to access the edge, from the edge of the door, you'd have to access the this hole here to raise the top pin. And before, you had to turn it 16 times.
16 times.
And now you only have to turn it, how many times?
8
times.
That's in half.
Slashed in half.
Slashed in half.
Cut in prices.
That's
no,
right.
not prices. Turns. But it does make the, a little bit easier for installation, which is nice.
Yeah. Right.
So
if you have a heavy door, time is of the essence. So
it is.
The less turns, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what about the pin, right? Speaking of the top pin that you have to raise up.
Right. So there's 2 different pins with this new top pivot. There's the 10 millimeter pin,
which is what we have here, the standard
one.
Right,
standard one, and then a 15 millimeter pin.
Yes.
So it depends on the class of your bottom pivot. So the class again is basically the spring strength that they use. That's how they identify the different spring strengths.
Yeah, which relates to your door width, your weight, where your pivot point is. All those things kind of come into play. But ultimately, if you have a higher class, they compensate for that and have a bigger diameter pin.
Right.
Because a lot of the door pressure is going to be put on the pin. You think about a very large door.
Right.
The top pin, when you get to a certain weight class, it's going to automatically change from a 10 millimeter to a 15 millimeter pin now.
Right.
So it helps take that weight.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, the lateral forces, but yeah, it's
fancy terms.
Fancy terms. But yeah, it's a little bit more robust and it just gives you a little bit more security there.
Yeah, which is great.
So and like you said, it's automatically when you order a set. Depending on the class, that will determine which pin size. You don't even have to.
You don't have to think about it. It's just automatically going to happen, which is great.
Which is great.
So if you are a FritsJurgens super user from prior days, this is that was good.
That was a super user.
The top pivot has changed slightly dimensionally. But that's really it. Like, there's not a huge change. The function of the top pivot hasn't changed. The installation is pretty much the same, slightly simpler, and more reinforced with the bigger top pin.
Right.
So there's, apart from it giving you a clearer opening, that's really it. It's just all positive stuff with this.
All positives.
Nothing bad.
There's nothing bad. No, of course not.
No. So the only thing that is different though with the top pivots is when you're using the power transfer, or aka cable grommeted sets.
Cable grommeted sets, right?
Those go back to the original 91 millimeter pivot.
So that top pivot is not changing.
Correct.
That's the same one that you've used already.
Yes.
It's similar in size and function as the original 91 millimeter top pivot. So that hasn't changed. So
that's the only caveat is the power transfer cable grommet. That's still going to be 91, but moving forward, all of the 1s, M's, 3s are all going to have this new 70 millimeter top pivot, which does not mean you have to put it at 70 millimeters. You can still put it at 91. You could put it at 10 inches, a foot and a half. You could put it wherever you want. Yeah, it's just giving you more options to where you can place the top of it.
Exactly.
Which is lovely.
Options are great.
Options are great. So again, as I kind of just said, functionally, nothing's changing. Like the way the M and M up and plus function isn't changing. Right.
Or 1 or 3.
Yeah, all of that is still same.
All the same. It's the same bottom pivot, the same piece of hardware that you got before, that you bought last year. You're getting the same bottom pivot you're getting this year. Same
function, same installation. The bottom pivot dimensions aren't changing at all. It's just a new top pivot, which it gives you a lot more options.
Which you can or cannot move closer to the edge of the door.
Exactly. So the other thing we want to talk about in addition to this is the flush floor plates.
Yeah.
So this kind of goes into the realm of the M plus though.
Right.
So these are specific to M plus.
Right. Yeah, these are right. Go with all the sets, but flush floor plates are just with M plus.
Yes. And these are cool. Like the normal flush plate, super minimal, sits on the floor, but the flush floor plates, they get routed into the floor. And there's 2 versions, right?
Yeah. So they have a rounded one. We have here the rounded one with the rounded corners.
Is that why it's rounded? It's
That's why it's called rounded. Flush rounded, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not round.
No, not round.
It's still rectangular.
Rounded corners.
Rounded. Very, very slight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's rounded corners. So this would be for like wood, when you're having like a wood sill or something like that.
It's
typically
easier. Yeah, to
routing
around.
Yeah. So you can do that. If you had a metal or aluminum,
or you just felt like notching out wood to a perfect 90-degree angle.
you really like notching out wood and you want it to be perfect 90 degrees, then we have squared as well.
Yeah.
So again, like the normal floor plate, imagine if this is your floor surface, right? That's how the normal floor plate would sit, right? And we'll get into these guys later.
Yes.
But your flush floor plate would sit down like this.
Yes.
And be flush with the floor. So your invisible floor plate, when the
more
door's
invisible.
closed, it's even more invisible.
Yeah.
If that's, I don't know.
I mean, if you got,
like
down and looked at it, you could see even less than you did before.
Right.
Which is nice.
Yes. But there's a trade-off.
In addition.
But the thing with the flush floor plate, right? So you can see here with the original floor plate is you have your radial adjustments.
Yeah. This isn't in addition, but yes. Yeah.
Right. Radial adjustments on the regular floor plate. You don't have those with the flush floor plate because when you install it,
it's in the ground.
It's going to be in the ground.
Yeah.
So
basically what that means is with the standard floor plate, when it's kind of on, like you said, on the floor, you have the ability to do a slight adjustment to the floor plate. So if you're when your door is closed, if your 0 degree isn't perfect, you can adjust the floor plate a little bit to kind of get it back to where it needs to go.
Right.
Obviously, when it's in the floor, you don't have access because the like you said, the adjustments are here. So when it's in the floor, you don't have access to that.
Right.
So it's something you need to be aware of when you're using it, and you have to make sure everything's lined up ahead of time and everything's good. But the thing it does do is it reduces the gap at the bottom of the door,
right,
which is really nice. And then if you're using a like automatic drop seal, you don't have to use such a thick door. So if you're using the flush floor plate, you need a 2 1/4 inch.
Right. There's people that make pivot door
drop seals
that work in a 2 1/4 inch door with the flush floor plate. So
call me if you don't know about that. I'll tell you about it.
So yeah, it's great. It's really good. And listen, we know our viewership, right? There's people out there that are really good manufacturers.
Oh yeah.
And they don't use the radial adjustments anyway.
Very true. Yeah, so you may not need it.
So this floor plate's for you guys.
Yeah. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
And something that comes now standard with all the floor plates. Previously, you would always get these 8mm studs, which you, on the standard floor plate, you can choose, thank you, David, to use in 2 locations or 4 locations. And they normally come with these 8mm studs, but now they're going to come standard with both the 8 and a 30mm stud.
That's right.
Which is really nice.
It's nice because sometimes you have like a subfloor or something that you really want to grab onto with your floor plate. And the nice thing about the 8mm is you don't have to go into the floor very much.
Yeah, but if you do need to,
want to,
right, you have the option to do that now.
Right. So that's standard on the rectangular floor plates.
Yes, which is great.
It is great.
What else? What's new?
Does there have to be more?
There's always more.
There is more. There is more. It seems like we've already talked about a lot, but yet there's more.
This is like brand new. Like this is good.
brand new.
Brand new. We're gonna emphasize the first brand.
Because so like you said, people wanted the
70mm.
Right. So they came up with 70, right? But they like doubled down and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
If 70 is not good enough for you,
we got 40.
We got 40. Right.
So yeah, what that means is they reduced it even more to 40mm. There's the 70mm is your standard. You're gonna get the 70mm for every standard set that you order. Right. But there's these special sets now that have 40mm backset or pivot point, minimum pivot point.
Right.
And
well, now this isn't a minimum, right? The 40 millimeter.
Correct.
You can't move. It's got to be 40.
Yeah. 70 you could put wherever you want, but the 40,
70, 71, 91.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's limitless, really. But the 40
is 40.
Due to the nature of the way it's assembled, which we're going to talk about, it has to be 40.
Right.
So why does it have to be 40?
It has to. Well, I'm glad you asked, Jessica, because it has to be 40 because this gets mortised into the edge of the door. So you actually create like a little pocket. You're not cutting out the whole edge of the door, but you're creating a little pocket that goes on. So this will be, this, and then the cover plate will form the edge of your door.
Yes. Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, it's just fantastic. I mean, yeah. So the edge is going to be exposed. You're going to see the metal of the pivot, which is why they also came out with magnetic cover plates for these.
Do you want to do the cover plate?
I would like to. Okay. I haven't done this yet, so I don't. If it's going to snap my finger, I don't really know.
This is really good.
Woo! That's a strong magnet. I really haven't done this before, and you'll see this one is actually in a PVD black. But they come in stainless steel and PVD black like the M and M Plus floor plates do, the standard floor plates. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty strong magnet. So this is going to be at the top of the door. And then obviously at the bottom of the door, it's going to be similar. It's a very similar way it's set up. There's a little bit of a L-shaped bracket. Right. And there's a cover plate for that as well. And nice. Thank you.
So your bottom pivots here.
Put it upside down.
The bottom pivots for the 40s are different.
Oh,
the pivot themselves, that's one thing I wanted to show with these. If you look at the TP70 and the TP40, you notice that the actual pivot part, all the guts of it.
Like the body of the pivot. Yeah, not the flanges.
Those are all the same.
Yeah.
So it's the same box, right? There's just a different attachment plates that they put on these things.
Instead of going back, it goes down.
Right.
Yeah, which makes sense.
So, but your bottom pivot will also have a similar vertical plate that will, so you can't just use like your old bottom pivot that you have in like
No. If you're using a 40 millimeter top pivot, you have to use a 40 millimeter bottom pivot.
Yep.
But I mean, if you need to get as wide of a clear opening as possible, like this is the way to go. Mm-hmm. And it's a really fantastic innovation they came out with because they're just aware that people are trying to get as wide of an opening as possible,
right? With
also having as minimal hardware as possible, which is kind of very difficult to do, but. It's a very cool thing that they're doing.
The other thing with this is, again, you need access to the edge of the door to raise your top pin.
Yeah.
With the 70. This one, of course, now this is the edge of your door, so you don't have to drill those little
I didn't think about that. That's true.
Into the edge of the door because this will be it. So
they already exist. There. Yeah. Good point, David. I didn't know. Good selling point.
That's why we have.
I know, it's true.
We talk about all the good points.
Yeah, but we also have to talk about all the things you have to think about. So one of the other things you do have to think about when your pivot point is so close to the edge of the door is the gap between the frame, and if there is a frame, and the edge of your door. With a 40 millimeter pivot point, you might need to do a slight radius edge or, to allow it to swing all the way. So it's just something to be mindful of.
But because you have to think about it, we've already thought about it. So we have a new configurator card, which is basically the same as the old one.
Yes.
If you're familiar with it.
Just with a lot more information.
Just with more information. And we have some scenarios there with the 40 millimeter pivot.
Different door thicknesses showing it as it opens. Yeah.
So you want to check out the backside of that or ask Jessica for it.
Or just call me and let me know. Well,
she can send it digitally.
Digitally.
It ain't easy.
It's not easy giving this much information in this short of a period of time. So I'm sure that there will be questions that you guys will have. Of course, give us a call and email me. Call us at Bridgeport Worldwide, info@bridgeportworldwide.com with any questions you have. But this is the new stuff, and the The 70 millimeter is the new top pivot. It's the future moving forward.
That's right.
And we've said before, and we've had our first ever video about FritsJurgens was our pivots from Mars, and they just keep getting better and better.
Oh, look at that. And the space theme beer.
I didn't think about that.
You were thinking about it. You just didn't know.
Yeah, I had no idea. Well, we always thank you for watching. We thank you came to the end of the video. If you did, we appreciate it. And
we'll see you next time.
Bye.